Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for being here, Ivan. All right, so thanks for joining us today. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on at the moment and heaps of potential trades. It's a bit weird with the timing around options expiry, so we're not seeing them come up in the scanners, but there's plenty to talk to. But as always, any advice contained in today's presentation is general only, doesn't take into consideration your personal circumstances, and you need to decide for yourself whether it is appropriate for you. Past returns are not an accurate indicator of future returns. There you go. All right, so...
Still hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's still the same. All right, so let's go and have a look. Now, by all means, guys, questions, please shoot them through.
As always.
And I might just open up charting separately. We're using Ivan's favourite computer again today.
It's not the computer. This is the thing. It's this room. It's like this room has a bad omen over it. Yeah. Actually, it's the software used, but it's okay. So let's have a look at the market. We've got plenty of stocks that we're going to chat about today. You'll probably be going, okay, so there's some 52-week highs happening in a bunch of different stocks. Why are they not coming up? I know that's a question that's been asked of Tim a little bit or a fair bit recently, and as well as on chat. The reality is it's that 30 to 60 day range to expiry. The closest expiry is 22 days away at the moment. The next expiry after that is 62 or 64 days, was it? I forget.
22, 64.
64, yeah. So we, in the next 4 days, so what are we, Wednesday to Monday next week, anything that's still making a fresh 52-week high then, we'll be looking at it. And at the moment there is, there's actually more than these stocks lining up, but there is a heap of stocks. So just to give you a few of them.
We're not on camera, Ivan.
We're not.
They can't see a piece of paper.
I'm going to read them. I'm just trying to decipher this weird writing. Wesfarmers, oh wow, SHL, I don't know, is that CCC?
Lendlease, LLC.
They all look like C's. ANN, Coles, James Hardie, and CTX. So WS, WOW, SHL, Lendlease, and I'm saying the same stocks over and over. And the XGO, of course.
And so quite we're just having a look at trades from previous weeks, and the ones that have been in previous weeks are still presenting themselves. So that obviously bodes well for those trades.
Yep.
You're on them. And the XJO to start off.
We were obviously both busy. I wonder if the text message went out this morning for the ALU trade. Iron Condor silver trade presented itself for the first time. We had an Iron Condor come in forever. Just after I actually went to going, this is abnormally rare that something is popping up. I asked my developers to make sure that everything's okay. Turns out everything was totally fine. It's just the markets haven't been presenting themselves, mostly due to this weird kind of, and it's funny around this December period because there is sort of 5 weeks between the two expiries. Mm-hmm. Typically, there's that long gap between two different expiries, so some things sort of fall off.
So just to be super clear about that, what isn't being met is the expiry days rules, to expiry that are in the breakout rule. So it's
and the Iron Condors.
And Iron Condors. Yeah. So that just means that technically the trade might be there, but the scanners won't pick them up because it falls outside of those rules, which is fine. You can still trade them, and we'll talk about how you can trade them, but it won't be picked up by the scanner just for this little window of time. So anyway, there's the XJO.
Should I give a bit of theory around why that is? And I'm not going to go for 20 minutes like I usually go. The quick 30-second version.
Yes, but let's do it when we go to the first trade idea. We will absolutely do that. So let's just talk about the market first. Continues to do what it's been doing, which is grind upwards.
But today's significant. You know, it's through that high. So it's now making a series of high. You can say that it's now in an upwards channel. Obviously, a heap of resistance around here. But so close, so close. A close above a 52-week high would obviously signal, an interesting period. I'm not sure why the ADX is, the thing on that is -5.
The man at our coffee shop has been calling this
forever.
All the way up. He's been buying more and more and more, so he thinks it's going to break through and go for a decent run. Anyway,
I like the man in our coffee
Hey,
shop.
he's a good trader.
I'm going to go on and buy a shitload
yeah,
of puts now.
yeah. I think we should get give an update every week.
Yeah.
On what he's got to say.
What is that coffee shop?
But
he's a heavy trader.
he is a very heavy trader. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so anyway, and I think he does pretty well out of it. So anyway, so here we go. So we're XJO. Technically, there's nothing really to say, right? So anything we can say about fundamental news at the moment sort of been quelled to a degree, but it can pop up at any point in time. And other than that,
it's in that Christmas kind of period, everyone really starting to shift focus away from news to buying Christmas presents. So, even if there's a bit of a pullback with people literally selling to buy Christmas presents, it's not, and anyway, usually it's typically as large as it expects. I mean, we're going to get into some periods of seriously low volume. Again, as Rowan online, it's what no, he's not today. So when he listens to the recording, Rowan, I'm mentioning volume for you as well. Again, but yeah, it's just sort of time in the period. Something needs to happen to change the direction. It is now clearly up really from the period of August. And the most important thing is you got these heap of these stocks now making 52-week highs, which is significant because when you start seeing optionable stocks making 52-week highs, it means that the rally is coming from the blue chips, so to say, or the bigger end companies. The thing that was lacking in that August breakout or that end of July breakout was that you'd look at we weren't getting any lit longs, and that's a very important health check. If it's coming from the lower end. The 200 to 300 ASX stocks, it's usually
not sustainable.
It's just something there. It's not like the US where the Russell is a good indicator. Australian small stocks are usually just manipulated, I should say. I should turn it down. No, there's no manipulation in the Australian market. What am I talking about? No, and I've never participated in any of it.
All right, so let's go and have a look at some of these. So what are we?
I'm totally going to get a please explain after that from someone.
That was at what time when we were recording? Anyway, so here we go. So where's, look, it's up there. It's probably a trade that looked good, back through this period here. It's moved, it's quite a way away from the moving average, 50-day moving average. So given that there's lots of other things to look at.
Not terrible, though. Not terrible. Where's the vol? The vol's a bit low. Yeah. So, I mean, ideally you'd have a vol just a little bit higher so that you can get just a little bit more out of your strikes. So, anyway. Yep. Any stocks, of course, that you guys want us to look at, please let us know. In the meantime, we're just going to go through this a very long list of stocks that we've got, because on Monday, for those of you that have been itching to get a trade on, this is a pretty good time to pick 4 or 5 stocks, get your account ready for Monday, and assuming that nobody bombs anyone over the weekend, there's going to be plenty of opportunities, you would think, because this entire from here to the December period is it's a good opportunity to be on that sort of long side.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Woolworths was one that people asked about last week, and it had lined up for a lit long there. It's
but
still
ADX was low.
ADX was low, and ADX now is that looks like you've got a better memory than me.
I do.
Yeah. It might have been the week before.
I wasn't even there.
Yeah, it might have been the week before we were talking about this.
I look at the markets.
Anyway, ADX is now sitting there. So again, there's another one. What we might do now is just go and have a look at. Let me just have a look. 5 volt is pretty bad. Anyway, let's put it in.
You're going to bring up AMC while we're doing this. We might as well. Someone mentioned AMC. Sorry, the name didn't flow through. So, yeah, good. So clearly it went to 0.
Yeah,
and rallied.
That was a bug the other day that someone picked up.
I didn't even see it.
That's do we have to clean that up? I'm not sure.
It doesn't come. It's not our data.
Yeah.
So I got to go to Aris.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nothing to see here.
Sorry, can I just? Sorry, just actually let's just check. So I'm just going to go on and kind of zoom into this so that it's actually, we can actually look at it like a normal chart. Yeah, but that's
Nothing to
but
see here.
but there's nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Aside from, you could have bought it one. You sure there was no like Procter and Gamble type trade / crash type?
Oops.
Whoops. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Capital, I think, was the company behind that one back in the day. SHL.
Yeah.
That's a good-looking trend, isn't it? Yeah. It's funny how many people would go in and look at that and say, "This is a perfect sell." Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And yeah, those are the guys that have been selling CSL at 150. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So that lines up. Yeah, it's a day into the initial move. I mean, maybe some consolidation before a move up might be what you're looking for in there, which is what we were looking for last week when we were looking at things. And we'll go back to Lendlease. This is it'll be interesting to see if it can break back up there. That will also be a good-looking opportunity.
And this time around, the really cool thing about that is that, as opposed to last time, that moving average is trending so quickly to the upside that now suddenly you don't have that sort of stop that you've got to start adjusting. Because by the time that it gets there, if it's, say, early next week and it sort of consolidates around here and that moving average is closer to, $18, $50, $19, that would be awesome. And then you're buying at a 20 with a $1 stop.
Yep. And we were looking at Lendlease. Someone asked about it 2 weeks ago, which I think it was sitting up around here, and we were saying consolidation, wait for some consolidation, which has occurred, but you haven't had the breakout now that you're going to be looking for before you move on it. But you can see the distance between where it was and where it is now to that moving average is pretty important. All right. So that was LLC.
I like all of these charts having random lines on it, which random places. My poor charting platform.
Yeah. All right. So, Ansel, like it's just.
But that's actually quite a good example of. So that's really broken through. It's clearly in that. Who's that guy? How I Made $2 Million in the Market or something. That really old book with like really big. It was like a really big writing book, which was almost like for kids. And he was talking about the boxes. What was his name? Davis, I think.
Right, didn't read it.
Davis. It's one of the classics, one of the first. He would just read boxes. And so as soon as there was a breakout, all he would do is he'd say, there's actually, I think, a study on this, the Davis box, I believe. Let's have a look. I don't know why. There we go. I don't know why, but that just came to me. But these boxes. So anytime it breaks around, the idea is if it goes outside of that box, it's a buy.
Yep.
Anyway, and vice versa, if it goes below, then it's a sell. And I don't remember what the different colours mean. That's obviously been taken further. But anyway, but in terms of that, so we were to take that off and simplify, go back to grassroots about what he actually did, because there was no mathematical strength there. He was just, I think he was like a professional dancer that became a millionaire stock trader and created the Davis boxes. Anyway, if anyone knows more about it or remembers more about it, please let me know, because I've totally forgotten the story. But he was literally, all he did is just looked at these kind of things and he said, okay, well that's the buy now. There's sort of a box up there type thing visually. But in terms of looking at something like this stock, this is where you'd wait for that consolidation to occur. It's broken out. The ADX is great. The vol is pretty static. Aside, so obviously, obviously had like an AGM or something or some earnings. And now you just wait for it. You'd want that 50-day moving average to be closer to 28, 29 bucks.
If you're following on some of the breakout side of things, and you're following these stocks, then realistically you should have picked up on it when it broke out. After this period of consolidation, lined up nicely, and it would have been a great trade for you. It will present itself. It's still in a breakout, but really, as Ivan's saying, you want that now. Now it needs a period of consolidation for the 50-day moving average to catch up, and before you can get back on board for that particular trade.
Because the worst thing is if you've missed that trade and there's a breakout and a breakout and a breakout, and then you finally commit, that's like, and that's buying houses a couple of years ago.
Yeah. But the good thing about stocks is that they do consolidate and things catch up, and you can be trading a trend that's going strong and lots of entry opportunities, but you don't want to be getting in at the wrong time. All right, well, it's too late. All right, let's go look at Coles.
And while that's happening, Trent's question is it possible to place an automated stop loss position on the IV option trading platform? So it is something that we've been working on. There's sort of a whole heap of compliance that we've got to get through around it, because it's sort of putting a stop loss on options. So the ASX market and pretty much every market in the world for options does not allow stop loss orders because there's not always a two-way quote in the market. So putting an option, there's two ways to do it. One is to put it based on the underlying price. So I want to go on and buy, Coles options, for example, if it gets to 16.50, or I want to close down my positions. So based on that underlying price, do a best order, close, done. And the risk there is something just gets mispriced and missed and not traded. So there's a bunch of work there that we've got to get through. At the moment, the solution is what Patrick is showing is go into your phone and enable push notifications. So you just go into impliedvolatility.com.au, go for that, and then enable push notifications. And as soon as there's a price move, you do exactly this, and what will happen is it'll just push it to your notification. If you're on your desktop, it'll pop it up with a little sound, and I don't remember actually to send an email. I think it depends how you set it up. Oh yeah, you get an email as well. That's right, you do. So that's the best way to do it, and then as soon as it happens, you just literally do a best order.
Yeah. So you can do. I mean, if you're doing trades like this, we're suggesting that you check it once a day, right?
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't need to be during market hours or whatever, but if you set up some alerts and say, they might be in similar places to where you draw your support and resistance levels, or it might be at where the 50-day moving average is when you get into the trade, then you might have to bring that alert up. But effectively, it won't give you a stop loss on an options price, but it does achieve the alerting you at the point in time where it gets near something that's interesting. And don't set at the exact level that is the point where you would close out. Set a little bit above so that you get some warning that it might be heading towards an area that you need to check. So you just press save there, that's done. And you can manage your alerts from in here, and you can go back in and, sorry.
That one.
And you can go back in and you can adjust that at any point in time. You can have numerous ones in there. Off you go. So yeah. Anyway, I know that's not answering your question, but probably relevant to.
But I mean, that is what option traders do.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's probably extremely relevant.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yep. All right. So we had a look at Coles, and that was again. It presented itself as a breakout a number of times. It's kind of had a move. You'd be again. This would look for a little bit of consolidation there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Check on Monday. Yeah. Well, on Monday when the time comes, but yeah.
JHX.
I've got to get active again. It's just it's such an awesome opportunity. I got to get the guys in Sydney.
Yeah.
Got to get the advisors to go and place my trades.
Yeah.
Got to get them managing.
Same. All right. So here we go. I don't know. Monday.
The answer is going to be Monday too. You know what? Maybe we should do a webcast on Monday.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Because it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe do a Monday morning or something. For everyone on the line, would you guys like us to do a Monday morning webcast to see where everything sort of settles after, when we're back after the weekend, maybe a sort of 12-ish or 11-ish or something? Just see where everything settles. If you guys do want to do that, please type in yes. And then we can do a sort of a special Whoa, look at CTX go. Jesus.
So that's long territory there. I don't know. We probably wouldn't have lined up because of the expiries. But did anyone get on that?
So the interesting thing is, I was actually monitoring. Sorry, just the person that just typed in yes, please. Can you also please let us know the name? It didn't come through, just so we know to invite you. One day we'll upgrade our systems, but our webinar system. So that's interesting. Actually, I'm keen to find out what happened there. Did you hear anything about CTX? Because obviously it had that big sell-off, which was one of the iron condors one of the few iron condors that significantly didn't go away. Thanks, Tony. One of the things that really didn't go away was because they had that massive profit downgrade where the profit was going to halve. Market slid quite significantly, ended up coming back. Takeover bid, thank you, Mike. That's amazing. I mean, that looks very, it's interesting when the whole thing was happening, people started mentioning takeover bid territory, but that's crazy for anybody who was on that. Jesus. Good thing I didn't get short because, my market was lining up as it was consolidating around those highs. It was literally, I remember considering putting on a really tight bearish spread. Yeah. That would have been bad timing. I guess it's a good thing with options. If you're short selling, you're pretty much selling your house and your wife and your liver just to pay for the debt. Thank God for protected option strategies. Anyway.
All right, so CTX was the last one we had on our list to go through. Is there anyone? Trent, yes. So we will record the session on Monday, guys. A few people have asked, and we will send it out to everyone. Oh gosh, it might go in the morning report the following morning. We'll see how we go.
If we do it on webinar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Right. So you just brought up before, Ivan is being particularly busy at the moment over the last couple of weeks, and that's been my year. And one of the things that we've really both been looking forward to with having advisors is that we just find it difficult to check the market or be self-directed. So it's nice to have someone that can do that for us
during market hours.
And come to us because we have lots of demands on our time, as a lot of other people on this session today probably do. So the advisors, where are they at the moment? So they're up and running and trading. We haven't opened up the service to existing clients yet. We've got some work. Ivan and I have got some work this afternoon to do a couple of things to finalise all of that, and as of Friday or latest Monday, that should be fully operational.
So translating from Patrick to reality, Monday earliest, Tuesday likely. All right. Set expectations straight, right?
Oh, okay.
Come on, you know how it's going to be. There'll be a weekend email that'll go out.
I know you. Compliance wants to give us a hard time. All good. All right.
For compliance listeners, I love you. Don't worry.
Yeah. So I think that's. Any questions? CSL.
It's already up. Mysteriously.
Trudy. CSL. Are you long? Are you considering it? What would you like to know? I mean, this is a general comment. It's been a lit long. Forever. And it still is. It has had a pretty good jaunt since the last sort of couple of entries. So it'd be a Monday trade.
It is. It's a mile.
That's right, Trudy. Trudy just said it's a long way from the 50-day moving average. Yes,
it is literally a runaway. But this is that example that I was talking about before, which is if you get into the vicious cycle of missing the initial move and you're buying here. I mean, eventually, and the thing is, it could go to $400. We just don't know. I mean, there's a lot of investment going into Australian biotech, right? And this is the comment that you were laughing at last week when I made a fundamental comment. It was literally about CSL. So obviously, the tech sectors around the world are getting dragged higher and higher, and the biotech sector is CSL is the best representative of it, really. Yeah, there's just the reason why we're laughing is there's just this kind of nod and smile from Patrick going, what's happened with you, man? Like,
Yeah. You turned into a biotech analyst overnight.
Yeah, there was something I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everyone. I'm leaving to become a biotech analyst. No. But from a purely technical point of view, if you were on the lit long and you've taken this, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, you wouldn't care if you lost now. But the moving average is so far away that just looking at purely now is there's just better opportunities. You can do it. You can go on, and again, this goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's continuously going higher highs, so you'd think that a reversal of their trend will be a break of that 265 level, but even that's $15 away, right? So the other thing is CSL is a very expensive underlying in terms of pure price, $280, which means that every one lot that you do is $28,000 worth of stock, which is scary. Proceed at your own risk. That's my moral of that story.
Go long biotech, you heard it here first. All right, so any other questions? Trent, what are your thoughts on AMP, given the share price has held well, given the recent turmoil in the banking sector?
Is it possible that we don't look at AMP just because, So I do have an opinion about being in finance, right? Some of the things why I'm busy is because of some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I think, firstly, anybody who follows me on LinkedIn will know my dislike for some of the stuff that they're putting out. Their overly bullish sentiment, especially coming out from Shane Oliver and the entire AMP mafia. And it's like, it makes me so angry watching that. Not because they are, they're going to be right or wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, but there's just a very biased opinion about where they think it's going to work just because they've been through this and now they need to sell something to retirees. And so, for me, watching that stock, this is why I would never trade AMP. There's two reasons why I don't trade AMP. One is that it's got a very small underlying, so you pay a lot in fees to go on and put it in. The second one is that one of the things that I always say is if you've got an emotional attachment to a stock, don't do it. Right? So I cannot give an unbiased opinion on it. So regardless of what's happening with the stock, I don't know. Do you have a view on AMP?
No.
So, so maybe you can comment technically as to where it is, because I just see the stock going to zero. Right. I just, I don't get their business model anymore.
My view is probably this. It's been in a downtrend for an extended period of time, and I wouldn't want to trade against it. That would be probably what I would probably what I would say.
It's like Maya. Maya might pop up, and it has, and but unless there's some serious restructures, they've just blown their confidence, and the market does not associate AMP with trust.
Yeah,
which is their business.
Yeah.
So.
Everything changed and they didn't. All right. So the CBA, it's looking strong, isn't it? Ivan, you got a technical opinion on CBA?
Not at the moment. It's it's a double sort of an unknown where you've got it's not making higher highs and it's making higher lows, so it's coming into this sort of
consolidation maybe.
Yeah, if anything in Iron Condor, something's going to happen.
Yep.
And again, nothing's really presenting itself.
Can't really do it.
Vols at 14.
Yeah.
Just I think honestly,
it's a tricky one.
There's, you know, I
There's
mean,
better opportunities out there, as I guess would be what I would say.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, XJA, Wesfarmers, Woolworths, Sonic, LLC, Ansell, Coles, James Hardie, CTX, you know, all of these companies are presenting real opportunities, whereas this is just unclear kind of grind. I mean, if you've got a view on CBA, go for it, but we don't.
Yep. Any other questions, anything else anyone would like to run through? All right, beautiful. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day. Any questions, come back to us. We'll keep you updated with things happening around here, and we'll schedule in this session for Monday. See everyone online Monday. Cheers.
Sounds good.